It's a great answer. I had another question around the buzzword terms at the moment, dairy-free and gluten-free. So I would like your opinion on how people should interpret those terms.
Okay. Now, first of all, I always say if we are talking about gluten-free and dairy-free, we need to be talking about whole foods. Okay, that means not processed gluten-free foods, because a lot of people have got that perception that if I'm going to eat gluten-free, it is so expensive because now I have to buy gluten-free bread, gluten-free muffins, gluten-free biscuits, gluten-free anything. Okay, and they are super expensive. They're always overpriced. Well, not necessarily overpriced, but the ingredients, the grains that they need to do that is always a bit more expensive.
And it's often unnecessary.
Yes, yes. So gluten-free can just mean that you're eating the whole food. If you're eating your kumara, you're eating vegetables, fish, eggs, the way nature has presented it, all these things are gluten-free. Yes. So if you eat the apple is gluten-free. It doesn't have a gluten-free label on it, but it is gluten-free. Okay, so that's one way of overcoming that. There is a lot of work that has been published on being gluten-free. In fact, going back probably about 7 or 8 years now, there is a person who was nominated Nobel Prize winner, and he did a lot of work on gluten, and he could show that even for non-celiacs, gluten can affect zonulin, which is the tight junction between the cells in your gut, and that even non-celiacs will benefit from reducing their gluten intake. You may not necessarily, if you don't have a sensitivity towards it, you may not need to be pure gluten-free, but it's always good to go low gluten because of the effect of gluten on the gut.
So with those zonulin channels, when they open up in the gut lining, what can that lead to? Because there's a specific condition that can lead to, which can have a systemic effect on the body, which I see in the clinic as well.
Yeah. So what that creates is gut permeability. So that is exactly what happens. The gut becomes more permeable. What happens is bigger molecules escape into the bloodstream. It creates a lot of excitement for the system, and the liver has to clear out a lot more of things that really shouldn't be there, because if they went through the proper channel, things would have gone through properly. The other thing is the patient can have a lot of discomfort, and it can also create dysbiosis, which means you get bacteria that live there that chew on all these partially digested particles that are not broken down properly, and that creates a disruption to the whole microbiome, which has got huge repercussions. It can even affect your sleep, your mood, how you do things, your energy levels. And because 70% of your immune system actually sits in the gut, to have that permeability in the gut has got a huge negative repercussion.
For me as a chiropractor, I would describe that as systemic inflammation. So when those zonulin channels open up in the gut, they're going to create systemic inflammation in the body, and that leads back to what Irene was talking about the genes and your environment loading the gun. So if you're eating poorly, too much caffeine, stressing a lot, you're eating too much gluten and very processed diet, it's going to open up those zonulin channels and potentially turn on genes and create other diseases like thyroid conditions and other gut conditions and whatever you're genetically predisposed to, and that is termed epigenetics. So epigenetics means is what's happening in your environment, what you're eating, what you're thinking, what you're feeling will manifest in diseases that your grandparents, your great-grandparents have had. So that's that connection between your gut and your diseases that you're presenting. So that term is called epigenetics.